fashion doesn't have to be stupid. That's the creed of Somy Ali, who recently founded Somy Designs in Fort Lauderdale. This businesswoman, who was born in Pakistan, is passionate about using her clothing line to raise awareness on social issues and injustices.
And we focus on religious equality, gender equality. We have a gay and lesbian line, and anti-war. We're a fight for AIDS, no racism, everything that's positive.
The company's art director, Ryan Claverwheat, is also enthused about the idea behind these T-shirts and other fashions.
I think the T-shirt is a great canvas to express your ideas and get a thought out there, because it is almost like a walking billboard, you know? That's kind of what Nike and all the big brands use it for, to advertise themselves, but now we can do it, we're advertising something positive, something that hopefully will spark some, forward movement in people.
This is not the only way that Somy Ali takes a strong stand on human rights. As a documentary filmmaker, she's made films about domestic violence, teenage suicide, and rape. Her recent film was about the plight of Mukhtar and Mai, who had been punished by her village council in Pakistan by subjecting her to gang rape. This film aired at the Asian American Network Conference.
I learned about her because I read the New York Times, and I'm a huge fan of Nicholas Kristof, and I like his articles, and he wrote about Mukhtar and Mai. So I emailed him, I contacted him, and I asked him how I can get in touch with her. I'd like to interview her. And so he referred me to an organization called Asian American Network.
Somy was not always the social activist. It was just a few years ago that she was an actress and model in Bollywood, where she worked in 10 Hindi films and several commercials.
When I was in India, I was more veered towards makeup and junk food, and I think I was quite superficial. I was only 16, so the worldly issues weren't really of interest for me. And in the film industry, there's a lot of rivalry and there's a lot of competition. So my priorities were very different at 16 than they are at 31.
Somy eventually left India and returned to Florida, where she pursued an education, getting degrees in psychology and after that in film. She credits one man with profoundly changing her outlook on life, a former professor at Nova Southeastern University.
I found a mentor, one of my teachers, Dr. William Hammock, and I owe a lot to him. I think he opened my mind. He made me get rid of a lot of prejudices that I was carrying. Some were that I learned at home. Some came from my religion and upbringing.
Well, basically, I was just a resource for her, a non-judgmental resource. And also, for me, one of the main things is that all humans are humans. And one of our major problems today is the fact that we look at people as other.
Somy herself knows what discrimination feels like. She first experienced it while living in India.
I used to have to take approval from the CID office to leave Bombay for my film shoots. So I had to go in and get a written, signature for a consent. And the police officer that was there, he said, "Why are you here? Don't you know that we detest Pakistanis? And why don't you go work in your own country?" And I was 17 and so naive that I didn't know how to react to respond to that, aside with tears. So I walked out just crying and bawling.
She experienced discrimination again when she moved back to America.
When I moved to America, I sensed some people were like, "Well, are you the good kind of Muslim or the bad kind of Muslim?" I had questions like that. And then some people were like, "Well, why aren't you covering your hair? Why aren't you wearing long sleeves?" I think a lot of this stems from ignorance.
Somy's hero on the path to righting social injustice has been that champion of the oppressed, Gandhi.
Gandhi did it for the untouchables. He did it for other religions. So why not? The idea for Somy Designs and for Somy as a person is to take a stand for anything where there's hate crimes, anything that entails intolerance.